Alright guys, Chris Blasius here. This is video number 4. Sorry it's been so long since I've made another video. The weather's been pretty crappy here. We're entering winter in Ohio, so I haven't really had a chance to do many things with Kitt. Even today is not the greatest, but I do want to touch on a subject that pretty much everybody that writes me asks, and this is going to be a long video, and it's not going to be that exciting unless you're building a car or want to build a car. I'm going to be touching on the subject of how much money does it cost to build a Kitt. So I wish this was a video that was around when I was building a Kitt, and that's the reason why I'm making this video, because if this video would have been around when I created the car or before I was thinking about building the car, I probably would not have built the car. There's a lot of stuff to think about. The thought of building a Knight Rider car, and sorry, I'm looking at my computer right here. I have all the price list of everything. I've kept all receipts and everything for my build. But going back, so when you're thinking about building a Knight Rider car, you're like, okay, it's a Pontiac Trans Am. It can't cost too much, and then I'll get a paint and get some Knight Rider stuff and then be done with it. It won't cost that much. Well, there's two different ways you can look at it. There's a way that you could do it on a budget, and then there's a way that you could just go all out. I sort of went the all out route, so I will touch on both ways, and at the end of the video we'll talk about pricing. So with my car, it was a necessity that I wanted to build it on an 82 platform. You can use any 82 through 92 car. I wanted to do an 82 because that was the year that I was born, and that was the year the Knight Rider came out, so it actually was an 82, and there was a lot of parts that was 82 specific that you definitely have to think about when building one of these cars. So if you can find an 82, awesome. The seats, the hood, the fenders to the back bumper are all things that you'll need. If I would have done it over again, I probably wouldn't have used an 82. I would have used an 89 Firebird. Now you can easily get the 82 parts, whatever, put it on 89 platform. 89 was a much better car than 82. 82 Trans Am probably is my most favorite car of all time, but it was probably one of the crappiest cars ever built. So the reason why I pick an 89 has the option of a 350 engine. The suspension parts are way better, and there's a lot of nicer 89s around than 82, so that would probably be one of the first things that I would do. So anyways, so I did use an 82. I'll put some pictures, but the 82 that I used, I bought it completely stripped out. So I literally pretty much just bought a shell of a car. The reason why I bought a shell of a car, you know exactly what's underneath it, so you don't have to worry about pulling out carpet and finding rusted out floors or any weird things going on. But the reason why I bought the car that I did, it was the shell was absolutely perfect, zero rust. I mean, absolutely zero rust. It was a low mile car, had 40,000 miles on it. It was the crossfire injection that was the engine that I did want. If you watch Knight Rider on season 2, episode 1 or 2 or whatever, it shows David Hasselhoff when Kitt gets destroyed, he's walking around with a crossfire injection and air cleaner, which makes you believe that that was the engine that was used in Kitt. So to be as accurate as I could, that was one of the things I was actually looking for. So that engine was only available in 82 through 83. Anyways, so let's talk about the things that you'll need when it comes to building a car, and about what price that you should come to expect. So like I said, I bought mine. I probably paid a lot more than I should have for the 82 Trans Am. I paid $6,700 for the Trans Am, but it was a shell. Lots of people are gonna be like, oh my goodness, you could buy a mint condition one. You might could, but this car actually had all the body work done. There was a lot of reasons why I did that, and like I said, low mile, and I didn't have to worry about any rust, which is very hard to come by with an 82. That's one thing. Okay, skip. If you're dishing this much money into a car, please, 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 please build it on a firm foundation. I've seen so many people start putting Knight Rider parts, which are ridiculously expensive, into a rust bucket, I guess you could say. If you're gonna put that much money into a car, first start by having a nice car to put the stuff in. That's just my 2 cents. So, like I said, 82 Trans Am, that was $6,700, so we're already $6,700, and that's without, I mean, that's just a shell of a car. So, wheels and tires, if you look back in my other video, if you want to be screen accurate and use the 15-inch TurboCast with the caps and the screen accurate tires, it's going to set you back about $4,000. That's after getting them restored and everything. So right now you're at $1,100 with nothing. So you can see how this is getting pretty expensive. Paint. So my car, we took it down to metal, skim coated the whole thing, and then I mean, I did single stage. I have reasons why I did single stage. I think single stage looks better. Harder to maintain, but when the thing's clean, and if you're not driving too much to show car, you cannot beat a black single stage paint job. That's just my 2 cents. So for paint, I didn't pay this, thank God. I have friends that do amazing work. Erie Coast Custom, shout out to you guys. But I did a lot of barter, and I detailed a ton of cars for them to sort of bring the price down. So if you want a nice, just, I mean, you want to win car shows with a black paint job, figure on spending about $10,000 to $12,000 on a paint job. So as you can see, without any Knight Rider stuff, just a car that's painted with no interior, with wheels and caps, you're already, if you want show quality, now not all of you are going for show quality, but if you want show quality right now, just on that, you're 20 grand in. Don't mean to scare you off, but that's, I'm just breaking it all down for you. I wish somebody would have done the same for me. So that's tires. Windshield. So the back windshield, to be screen accurate, you need to have a perfectly clear, non-tinted, non-defrost back window. You would think that that would be easier to come by, but out of everything that I did on my car, that was the absolute hardest thing to find. It's not that hard to find a clear back window, but to find a clear back window that is in mint condition is impossible. Trust me, I searched for 3 years. It's impossible. Thanks to my dude Scott Benson, he literally called every single window place in America and found the last window place that had 2 NOS back windows, and I had to have it. So just the back window alone was about $800 after it was shipped. It was shipped from California. Now there are none left, so if you need NOS, I'm confident there's no NOS back windows left, so try to find a clean one or use the defrost one. So weather stripping, I got mine from Hawk's 3rd Gen, so the whole entire kit was $500 for the weather stripping. I was able to reuse my headliner. I had to reinforce it with fiberglass because the headliners just deteriorate after time, so that didn't cost anything. The rotors and brakes, so I went ahead and did some slide and drilled rotors, so that was $350 to do all of them. Door panels I had custom made. Once again, that was a friend of mine, but I would expect him to probably charge about $500 for custom made door panels for that, using the material. Dynamat, I did the whole entire car with Dynamat. I used 2 mega boxes. Each mega box was $289, so you're at $600 for the Dynamat. The fog lights, I used the Hella fog lights. I used 3 of those. That was $323 for 3 sets of those. Lowered the car, so I used Coney shocks. Once again, I would not go with Coney shocks because that was $1,000 just in the shocks alone. Especially if you're not driving it, you could just get some factory ones, be a lot cheaper. But like I said, shocks and springs for that was $1,000. The seats, I didn't have the seats, so I'd spent $400 for the seats, then $389 for Joe's material. That material is really thin. It's the best material out there. It's dead on to the NOS stuff. but you need it backed. Basically, you do fabric backing on the back of the material. That's another $200. And then to get the seats done by an upholsterer, they have to take your old seat covers apart and make new seat covers. So seats, backing, Joe's material, and seat covers was $2,000. But it's pretty screen accurate. That's about what you will end up spending. Just little odds and ends like the buttons, just the stock like lock buttons and the window buttons. That was $180 for all those. Had to do, since I lowered the car, I had to do a panhard rod, the adjustable to bring the rear end over. That was $180. Did new front sway bar end links and everything. That was $50. Undercoated the whole car, which was $100. New seat belts for the material and everything. Figure about $300. The blackout kit from Billy is $390. I did the tow bar in my car with the camera mounted to the front of it, so that was $410. The radio, I wanted to keep the same look of the old style, so I went with the retro style or retro sound radio, which was $359. Batteries are a huge thing, so I went with the Optima battery in the front of the car to power the car itself, and the XD power battery in the back, which is a competition subwoofer battery. The thing's enormous. It's about 100 pounds, about this big by this big. It runs all the Knight Rider stuff for about 7 hours. So if you're at a show and you don't have power, that's the battery to have. That battery alone was $400 plus the other one, so you're talking $650 for 2 batteries. So as you can see, this is getting pretty expensive. This is before getting even into Knight Rider stuff. So there's tons of different vendors. There's cheap vendors, there's boutique vendors. In my opinion, there's only 2 vendors to deal with. Billy Gunter, which is Knight Designs. He makes the absolute best fiberglass interior parts. I've seen them all. I've used some of them, and I'm not going to say anything bad about vendors, but if you want the best of the best, Billy Gunter is your man. It's going to cost some money though, so Billy Gunter, and he's doing some stuff different. So I was lucky by Cheesin Worth hooked me up. He gave me his spot, so I think all in with Billy's stuff, with all of his interior parts, I was like $5,300 for just the fiberglass. He's doing auction now. Just his steering wheel for his last auction went for $4,000. So that $5,000, you probably are looking at about $13,000 to $15,000 if things are going the way that it is. Good for him. He's the best. He deserves all the money. Front bumper, by all means, Mark Brown. He's the man. That's the guy who you want to order your bumper from. Completely screen accurate. He worked his heart and soul on this thing, and it looks absolutely amazing. And that will set you back $1,250 for a front bumper. Knight scanners, that's who I have my scanner by. Absolutely the best. You're looking at $550 for a halogen scanner. Little things like the push buttons, so like all your little odds and end buttons for the upper console, lower console, will set you back. Let's see here, so 150, 125, 129, so you're about $700 for all the console electronic stuff. ZA Electronics is by far the best. I went with them. I'll make a whole video just on the electronics alone, but their electronics and pods are going to set you back about $2,700 for that. Let's see here, I mean, little things like new floor mats were $200, new exhaust was $500. Carpet, which was, I think the carpet, where was that at? Man, there's so much stuff. The carpet was $300, I believe. I found NOS T-tops for $250, which is ridiculously cheap. NOS T-tops are usually about $1,000 a piece. I found from a little old lady on Craigslist, which was a whole another story itself. I have 2 DVD players in my car to run both screens, which are $89 a piece. Let's see here, now we get into some stereo stuff. We have the battery ISO, which basically allows your alternator to charge both batteries. That was $90. My power converter, which charges the back battery, was $210. The 2 mixers underneath my seats were $110. I did all JL audio on the inside, so the amplifiers for the JL audio was $400. The RCA, let's see here, or just the RCA, all the cables was $100. I did 2 Rockford Wake speakers under my front bumper, which were $600, and then the inside speakers, which was $200. The alternator to run all that was $340. Let's see here, I mean, like all the vinyl and the headliner, vinyl make the door panels, and the headliner material was $155. I found an NOS rear shade, which was $100. The fuse blocks and everything, that was another $200. My turbine, which makes the turbine sound, was $463. And the countdown, which I don't think I included with Billy stuff, was $230. And that's pretty much it. So before I give you the price, like I said, there's ways to do this a lot cheaper. If you're just going to drive the car, I would guess to do a nice driver, you're probably going to be $25,000 to $30,000 in. That's not the best paint job. That's not the best Knight Rider parts. That's doing a decent restoration on the car. My car was mechanically sound. That's why I think that $6,700 is a good price for what I paid for the car, because all in, I'm up there without having to do anything mechanically. Now, if you had to pull the engine and rebuild the engine and do all that stuff and fix rust, I mean, you're gonna be way in. So, like I said, I bet you could be 25 in with a decent paint job, nice interior, maybe like the Hawk's 3rd gen seat material and all that stuff. A nice replica, probably 25 to 30,000. Now, if you're trying to be show car, which I was, let me add up the total. And I did a lot of this myself, so this is going to differ if you don't have friends in it. So 35. So all in with mine, and please don't hear this as a brag. This is literally just to give information to people that says, oh, I want to build a Knight Rider car. I didn't know it was going to be this expensive to go all out, but it is. So all in with mine was $48,753. So, would I do it again? It's very cool. It definitely does steal car shows. When you go to a car show, you just figure on winning, because it steals the whole entire show. It brings back so much nostalgia for people, and just to see the looks on their faces, like, oh my goodness, it's the car I love. Like, it was my dream just to see this when I was a kid, and now it's here. Like, those things make it absolutely worth it, in my opinion. As a car, if you're gonna drive it, I wouldn't do half the stuff if it was a driver. Like I said, it's just a show car. I might end up driving it one day after all the car shows and stuff wear off. But, yeah, so hopefully that helps some people out. Like I said, that's what I paid. Of course, I didn't have to pay the whole thing for the paint, because I bartered for that. My dude helped me with the upholstery. He helped me do some of the wiring. That's not even like all the wiring I figured in there. Just the wiring alone, if you're not electronic savvy, that can cost some mega money. I work in the technology field, so I was able to figure some of that stuff out myself. And then my dude, Philip Anderson, helped me with a lot of the stuff, trial and error. But yeah, most important thing is build the car that you want. It'd be cool myself just to have like even an exterior only. An exterior only, you could probably be in $12,000 for a nice car with a front bumper and a laser. People would freak out. when you start getting into the interior stuff, that's where the money starts going fast. So hopefully that helps you out. I just want to give people realistic expectations. It's hard. It's by far the hardest thing I've ever done. Would I ever want to do it again? Absolutely not. I wasn't gray before that, and now I'm like gray. I don't know where all this stuff came from. Anyways, so it's hard. If you're not savvy, expect on spending a lot of money. If you want a show quality car and you're expecting everybody else to do the work, but you're just sort of fronting the money, easily probably 65 to 70,000 if you don't have friends that's willing to help and hookups like I was able to do. So hopefully that helps you. I try to answer any questions that you may have, but that was definitely the #1 question that I've had. Once again, please don't hear it as a brag. I just want to help people out, to give people realistic expectations, because there's nothing out there. I looked before and I still look, and people really don't touch on this subject. So next video will be the outside speakers if it warms up. So I have questions on what I'm using as outside speakers and how they sound, so we'll get into that for the next video. But until then, see you guys later.